Hi. Hello. We are live. Welcome. Hi, it's been a bit. It's been a week. I had an interesting week, and I'm gonna leave it at that for now. We'll swap over here, cut to the chase, because I'm already running late, because I am not feeling the best. So, that's just the story of my life at this point, isn't it? It's like, is it really a surprise if I say I'm not feeling the best? Because that seems to be my default answer for everything. Hi, welcome. I don't really have a whole lot to say, but there is a thing going on, and I'm like begrudgingly going to talk about it. I say begrudgingly, because I will be totally honest, I don't like the Game Awards, but it is something that I figure, hey, since I'm doing this streamer thing, I should probably talk about the Game Awards, because it's like a big deal. But, I really do not enjoy the Game Awards as a concept, truth be told. So we'll have to see how this goes. Hope everything sounds okay. Audio settings are all good. Haven't messed with anything. Apologies for skipping last Wednesday. I was just going through it yesterday, like last week, and still going through it. I'm gonna be going through it for a bit, is my prediction. But that's kind of neither here nor there. So as Drifting Soul is playing, I really love the song, by the way. Again, Xenoblade fan, totally unexpected that I would really like this song. I think I have both versions in here. I'm just looking, it's like, is anything spoilery gonna come up? Because I have a few songs in here that might sort of be spoilers. But we'll switch over here. Again, I kind of moved some layout stuff over here just to have it on screen. But, hi, welcome. Actually, how do I want to intro this? Because I might put this on YouTube. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Alright, so the Game Awards nominees dropped today at the time of this stream, so I wanted to go through them. I haven't even seen all of them, in all fairness, so a lot of this will be my first reactions to the different nominees. I hope everything looks good in terms of layout and everything. I have strong opinions about the Game Awards usually, so this will be interesting to go through all these and give my thoughts. So we'll just go in order. Game of the Year. So right before this, they gave an announcement that DLC and I think remasters also will count for Game of the Year now. I do not know how to feel about this change personally. Of this list, I am most rooting for Astrobot and Battletro, just because they're a little bit more like outside the box picks. It's like you have like a character action game made by a studio that's kinda sus, to be honest. You have very good DLC, admittedly, but again, Shadowed Airtree, in all fairness, is like the size of some of the games on this list, so I can't exactly fault them. But I also feel like the timing of announcing that's eligible basically so close to the event is a little much. Rebirth I haven't played, it's on my list, and Metaphor is also on my list. So yeah, I'm most rooting for these two. I'd be okay with these two. I'd be less okay with this, but still mildly okay, and then I would probably be actively unhappy if this won, if I'm being totally honest. Next, we have Game Direction. It's the exact same list. Is it literally the same list? Like, why are there two categories for the same list? So it's like, same answer. It's so weird, it's a redundancy. Best Narrative, I haven't played any of these, nor do I care to play any of these right now, for different reasons. Again, this one and this one are just a case of like, yeah, I'm waiting for a price drop. This is like, I don't know if I want, like, or both these really, I don't know if I really am in the mood for psychological horror, for reasons. And I am still on Yakuza 0, so Infinite Wealth is gonna be, like, way down the road for me. I have no clue when I'm getting to this game. I might skip ahead, though. I've kind of been itching to play, Like a Dragon, so if I get through Yakuza 0, I might just skip to 7, just cause, like, I don't entirely know how to feel about going through all of them in order. Best Art Direction, I don't really know. I actually This might be a hot take, but I actually don't think Metaphor has very good art direction. Not like from what I've seen of the game, it doesn't seem the best. So I'm kind of surprised this is here. Again, probably would give it to Astrobot just out of uniqueness, though. This game looks pretty. I just don't know anything about it. Score and music, I don't know the soundtracks of any of these games, to be honest, except Rebirth, which is like, I don't know, that's kind of cheating, because it's just like a lot of remixes of Final Fantasy VII songs, but they're really good remixes, so I'm a little bit torn on whether I would give it to Rebirth or not. I probably would, just because I do like that soundtrack quite a bit. I can't really talk about it because spoilers, and also I haven't played it myself, so within context. Audio design, I don't know. I always feel like horror games generally do better with audio design because there's more to it. Like, obviously Hellblade 2 does a lot with audio from what I gather. And I assume Silent Hill would as well. Best performance, one thing that surprised me, I did see this category in advance, is it's like 4 out of 5 are female performers this year, which is almost like, this never happens. I remember being very upset about it in previous years because of the very like male-dominated category, so this is kind of surprising. I don't really have strong opinions about any of these though, because I haven't played any of these. I mean, I have a Final Fantasy VII bias, so there's that. But I, again, don't really have strong opinions on this category because I haven't played the other games enough, or seen enough of the other games to know. Innovation and accessibility, this is always a fascinating category because it's like, basically like various accessibility features to make games more enjoyable for a wider audience, basically, as the description says. So Ubisoft is actually really good at this, as much criticism as they get for very derivative design. They are very good about accessibility. I don't know about the others, though, in all fairness. So yeah, this is one of those categories where it's like, I don't really know too much about like what Call of Duty would do to be more accessible. Games for Impact, again, I haven't really played any of these. I haven't played any of these, and like, so this is kind of why I always hesitate with Game Awards talk, because it's like, I barely have played any of these games, based on where my interests lie. Best ongoing, 14, 100%. Every year, I basically say give it to 14. Even as someone who plays a lot of Fortnite, I still would give it to 14. Helldivers 2 is a weird one, because I think Arrowhead is doing a good job. I don't think Sony is doing a good job, though. So that makes it very complicated to judge how Helldivers 2 is. Yeah, Fortnite, as much as I do play it, this is like a very similar list. It's like Fortnite and 14, it's like both of these I'd be okay with. Again, Fortnite's because I personally play it more, Fortnite because I play it more, 14 because I think it's like doing the better job, especially when you consider where it came from. Same feeling happened to No Man's Sky, actually. That game launched in real bad shape, as did 14, so that we're like 10 years in for both, and they're still going strong. That's like really impressive. Like, that is some good community support there. So, again, I'd kind of be okay with any of these except maybe Helldivers, just because, again, the studio's doing great. The publisher, on the other hand, is not doing a good job, so... Not doing a good job of listening, I mean. Indie, I've played none of these. I think Battlecho shouldn't get it, personally, just because I think... Well, actually, maybe it should. This will probably be the category Battlecho wins, to be honest, and not Game of the Year. UFO 50 I'd be okay with. I haven't played it myself, but it seems really fascinating. Again, Neva I don't know enough about. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes has been on my list. I'm a huge fan of Sayonara Wild Hearts. This just came out at the same time as Animal Well, so it just kind of got overshadowed. I'm actually surprised this is even nominated. The Amawell, Battletro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Kitsune Tales, UFO 50, a bunch of other games I'm forgetting. It's like most of the catch-up I want to do going into like next year is mostly just going to be indie stuff, because like normally I prioritize Nintendo because those games don't get price drops very often. Oh yeah, Plucky Squire, that's another one. Although I heard it's actually very mixed in terms of reception. Critics liked it. I've heard more criticisms in terms of like user scores, mostly over like hand-holding and stuff, which again, that'd be a case of I'd have to play it myself. But again, this is one I would like to play at some point. Again, not really knowledgeable enough. I almost think Battletro is the most impressive just because it took off the way it did. And does feel more independent, because like this is Devolver, this was like Donkey's company, so it's a weird quantifier, but they almost feel like less indie in some ways. It's like the Dave the Diver discourse last year of like, is that really indie if it's being published by like a major company? Best Mobile, I feel like Battletro won't get it because I think they'll give Battletro like Best Indie, so I don't care about the others really. I haven't actually started TCG. I would like to play this, but it is not on PS5 yet. PS5 version is coming out, I think, in December. And Zenless, I actually don't vibe with very much. And yeah, Hoyo fans want free stuff, true. So it'll probably win this. Hoyo games often win just because they get like free summon materials or something. I'm also surprised like Honkai or Genshin weren't in the ongoing game category. Best VR, again, no real strong opinions on any of these. I find this impressive just because they seem to have adapted the Arkham games really well. But I don't know enough about the others, to be honest. Talk to Ratio was free. I actually didn't know he was free because of that. I knew he was free, not that that was why. Best action game, I don't know, maybe Helldivers. Out of this list, I'd probably give it to Helldivers, though that's more like disdain towards this, and this, than like actually having played Helldivers and knowing how I feel about it. It's always one of those games where it's like, there's so much controversy around this one in a different way than this and this. But it's just kind of like, I don't know if I want to play Helldivers because of like Sony's stuff with it. Best Action Adventure, I'd give this one to Zelda just because it's the only category where Zelda's nominated, and I feel like it should win something, because I actually really like Echoes of Wisdom. I feel like Outlaws didn't even review very well. I think Silent Hill 2 is going to take this one though. That's the other thing, maybe I should have actually been talking about what I want to win versus what I think will win. Like in this category, Best RPG, I think I'd want it to be Rebirth. I think it will be Erdtree. If it's not Rebirth, I would want it to be Metaphor. But, like, my personal choice list would be this, then this. But I think the actual likelihood of winning would be this, then this, then this. Just because I think Rebirth has a harder time because it's the middle chapter of a story. And Dragon's Dogma, I thought, was actually kind of mid from what I remember hearing. Like, a lot of fans were disappointed in it. Though that's a whole other case of, like, Dragon's Dogma is more remembered for, like, the expansion of it. Than the original, which also was kind of mid at launch from what I gather. And Infinite Wealth is another uphill battle because you have like 7 other games plus Gaiden and like others to go through first. Fighting game, I hate this list, to be honest. This shouldn't be here because it's a collection of old games, and I played Multiverses during the beta, and I thought the gameplay felt terrible, and not even to comment on the monetization post-launch. I think Multiverses is not really great, to be honest, so I'd probably give it to Grand Blue. Like, my first choice would be Grand Blue. Likelihood of winning will probably be Multiverses, actually. I think there's a chance Multiverses will take it. If not, it'll be Tekken 8. These are my 2 guesses, but this is the one I want to win. I I fully admit I have an Arxis bias. And yeah, Rivals 2 I think released too late, because there's like very few games from November or like late October. So I feel like there are a couple of omissions just because they came out too late. The cutoff for the Game Awards is somewhere in November, I want to say. It's really early, and the last few times have excluded really big games. Best Family, it'll probably be Astrobot. But again, I feel like it should be one of these, like, these two, just because of, like... Oh, see, this I don't really think of as a family game, but I almost never think of Zelda as family games. Just because they're a little bit more skewed towards, like... single player, and this is also very like single player, but you can obviously like pass it off. Like this is the only one I'd say is a family game by nature of being multiplayer. It's like having so many single player games that is always fascinating. Best sim strategy, I have no strong opinions. I'd probably give it to Unicorn Overlord, actually. I was like, I don't really care that strongly, and then I noticed Unicorn Overlord is here, and then I'm like, okay, all in on this. I don't think it's gonna take it. I would want it to be this. Sports, I don't like sports games. Multiplayer, I guess I'd probably give it to Mario, but it'll probably be Helldivers or Tekken, or Call of Duty. It'll probably be Call of Duty, actually. Best adaptation, I have seen none of these. I'm amazed Knuckles is even nominated, but I'm sure it's more out of a default than anything like quantifiable, if that makes sense, because everyone complained about this show. I'm amazed it's nominated at all. Like, I'm surprised they didn't just have 4 here, because, like, this is good, I've heard iffy things on this, and I've heard really iffy things on this, and I've heard this is good. So it's like, faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. Like, I've heard this is mostly just like a bowling arc. So, like, it's fascinating that this is here at all, to be honest. Most anticipated, I am not really excited for any of these games. Probably Metroid Prime 4. But even then, I'm not like the biggest Metroid fan. But this is probably going to be it. It's not gonna win though, just by nature of like GTA 6 being here. Like, this is a shoo-in category. No one is gonna like be surprised when GTA 6 wins that. One of these is not like the other. Ironically, I would probably give it to Pecora, though, of the options. And this is kind of what I meant with the performance category. It's like, typically with, like, categories of real people, they tend to nominate mostly men, and then maybe one woman at best. So it's like, I'm kind of surprised as Pecora, though, but I'm happy with that. I think Iron Mouse won last year, which I was also very happy about. Yeah, I've heard of none of these people before, by the way. The only one I know is Pecora, so I kind of have to root for her by default. Best esports, I do not like esports games. Best esports athlete. Are the rest of the categories just esports? It is. And then Player's Voice isn't open yet. So, Player's Voice, my favorite games of the year were probably Echoes of Wisdom. That's kind of it, to be honest. I didn't play much this year. Truth be told. So yeah, that is my quick run through of all of the Game Awards nominees. That actually took a bit of time, but not too bad. But yeah, like Game of the Year, for example, I think it's just gonna be another Elden Ring sweep. But again, like Game of the Year, for example, I'd probably go this first. I don't know what would be my second choice for likelihood. Again, I do think these two, or maybe Metaphor or Rebirth, would be the ones I'd be okay with. But again, for like what's most likely, I don't know what is second most likely. It's not gonna be Elden Ring. I mean, I just feel like, you know, Elden Ring did review really well, and there's already kind of like, I don't know if I want to say a bias towards FromSoft games through the Game Awards. But I just don't see it being Battletro, for example, as much as I think that would be a fun outcome. And I kind of don't see it being Metaphor either, in all fairness. I'm trying to remember if Persona 5 won. I don't think it did, because 2017 was just an absurd year. So I think it was Breath of the Wild. So I'm trying to think if like an Atlas game has ever actually won Game of the Year. I don't think it's ever happened. So it could be Metaphor. But again, that's kind of my quick run through of everything. So we'll have to see. That'll be in like 3 weeks. I'll probably not be watching live just because I generally dislike the events. If any cool trailers drop, I'll catch up on them later. Unless like people are co-streaming it and, you know, riffing on it. I typically don't enjoy the Game Awards, like, unironically. Like, you know, last year had the Please Wrap It Up scandal. So I'm expecting some kind of gaffe this year. I'll just kind of track the whole event down. It's always just one of those things that's difficult to talk about, because it's kind of like... I don't know if soulless is the right word, but just something about the Game Awards has never quite sat well with me. Just how it's presented, all the ads, all the trailers for upcoming stuff, it just kind of cheapens it as an actual award, if that makes sense. Yeah, that is my thoughts. The song actually is really good. This is Torna's battle theme, but we're gonna pause that. Okay, have a nice lurk. I actually need a moment to get everything set back up, so I'm gonna switch over to the just chatting screen actually. Pop over to studio mode and clear out everything that I moved over to the game scene in order to actually do that overview of the Game Awards. Again, I don't know if I'll post that separately or not, like on YouTube or anything. Or if I'll just like come up with a different way to present that information. And I'm also a little bit on the fence if I should have like the coffee link up at all times, if that's like too distracting, or if like that feels like I'm shilling too much. I also didn't turn on the game, which would help. While we are getting that fired up, I'm just thinking about the nominees and like, dang, one, I didn't play very much this year, and two, like, I don't know how to feel about that list of games. I feel like, I don't know, it almost feels a little bit cynical to complain too much about it, because again, a lot of games deserve to be nominated. It's just a case of like, more so that the industry isn't really aligning with my tastes at the moment, beyond like indies, which there are too many of them, and I've fallen far, far behind because there are so many of them. And also, like, I just play a lot of Nintendo games because I like Nintendo. I have a bias there. And again, like I've said before, it's partly just because Nintendo games notoriously do not ever go on sale. Therefore, you know, if I'm gonna prioritize, like, this is something that came up a couple of years ago. If I'm gonna play, like, what am I trying to say? If I'm gonna play a game like, you know, Mario Wonder, that's coming out at the same time as, like, Sonic, Superstars, I'm gonna prioritize Mario Wonder, because that's the game that's gonna go on sale less often, if that makes sense. But yeah, we are switching over to Zelda. One moment. So what happened was I had everything set up for Fortnite Festival, so I could actually have audio. So my Xbox was still hooked up to the capture card. So that's my bad. But anyway, we are going to continue this randomizer. We are actually pretty far along. We only need 2 more items. We have the fire and ice arrows, which are in a set, and the light arrows, which are hopefully not going to take too long to find, but knowing my luck will probably take a long time. So we have 2 really quick checks that we will take care of with the spoils bag. Off screen, I did go through and collect all the spoils we need for all the checks in terms of that. So we'll clear out some of these. None of these will take terribly long. Do I just present this? Apparently we need 15 green chew jelly for this. There's also one for a blue chew jelly, but I think that's considered a long side quest, therefore is turned off for this particular seed. I've never seen this before, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've ever done this. Maybe like once on my first or second playthrough of the game period, but I almost never actually do this part of the side quest. Figured this would be a good time to adjust tracking for the model. Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing that scene before. Not to say I've never seen it, but just it's been a million years since I've actually done this. It probably has been about 15 years or so since I played Wind Waker, and we got bait out of it. That is extraordinarily not worth it, to be honest. Considering, 1, we can buy it, and 2, I might be close to full up on bait, because I bought a lot of pairs in order to actually be able to get some of the seagull checks before too long. So we have that, and we have the 40 joy pendant check, so I did get the remaining, 20 or so joy pendants that we needed. I also stocked up on rupees, by the way. Off stream, I did also get a ton of rupees and deciphered a bunch of the Triforce charts. There's 2 left, I think, that I didn't decipher actually. So yeah, we'll take care of that too. This stream is going to be a lot of treasure charts, if I had to guess. Alright, let's see what this is. It is an orange rupee that we cannot carry. But again, after this, we don't really have anything that requires rupees, so it doesn't really matter that we ended up losing out on some then. That being said, I should also go and decipher the last 2 charts, now that I am thinking about it. Alright. Lots of sunken treasures, basically. And that's the bulk of what we'll be tackling. Why didn't it go to the same slot? I meant to do this. Is that Tingle Island right there? Yeah, at this point, we have the Swift sale, we might as well just go here manually. Yeah, almost all of our remaining checks at the moment are tied to the hookshot. A lot of them are actually big octos still. We also have a couple checks back at Outset Island, so we'll probably tackle those 2. We have 3 dungeons left. We can't do a whole lot in the Earth Temple until we got the Mirror Shield. And also, I don't know if we have the song for that one. No, we don't have the song for the Wind Temple yet. So that could be a problem. But hi, welcome, hello. I hope everyone's having an alright day. I never really stopped and looked at the statues on the totem pole. I assume one is supposed to be like a moblin and the other are like fairies. I never really stopped and tried to absorb that, to be honest. Yeah, probably a relatively chill stream in the grand scheme of things, as we just knock out as many of these checks as we can. one more chart to go, and then we'll be set to move on to something else. It would almost be interesting if these could also be randomized, but I don't think they can, actually. So that should be all of the Triforce charts deciphered, so... we are good to go there. But that also means we have like 40 chests to haul up at minimum, and even more if we're counting other checks like big octos and stuff. I think my general plan is going to be to sweep along, like, one row at a time, for the most part. This might be a little bit inefficient, actually. We might also do the Forest Haven, because we'll be passing by there before too long. But I haven't really decided, actually. Alright, so it's about here. Actually, a little bit forward, I'd say. Hypothetically, we could finish this randomizer seed tonight, because of the amount of checks we have left, it's not outside the realm of possibility that we just get the arrows right away, and can actually just, you know, take care of the end game. But on the other hand, there are still a ton of other checks left, so hypothetically, it could be at the end of the 78 or so locations that it says are still possibilities. I'd prefer it to be on the lower end in terms of the amount of checks we have, but again, that is a possibility. Another we could check is also the Master Sword location is apparently a check. Ironically, we could also actually go through Ganon's Tower, except we wouldn't be able to actually, what am I trying to say? We wouldn't be able to actually, do much beyond the Warp Maze. Ganon's Tower is actually a really interesting final dungeon, because it's pretty short, compared to others. So I did set it for, like, no long quests, so I actually messed up here. We don't really want to fight Orca, because there is actually a check normally for 500 hits, but that would take forever, so that is not counted in here. But we do want to give him these, or I guess we can't. There we go. So then he'll teach us the spin attack, but this can be anything. We still have to go through the tutorial very awkwardly. I actually don't know how this is gonna work, because we don't have the great spin attack, we can't charge up. Like, will we be able to go through this? Or do we have it, but just for this tutorial? Because I don't think we have it, like, period. And it's a rupee, okay. So we are officially done with Outset. But now I want to check something, actually. Like, I want to see what happens if I actually try to charge up the spin attack. Because, like, what if I had it the whole time and I just spaced out? Because that is a possibility, in all fairness. Yeah, it's only for the cutscene. At least it's, like, smartly designed in that way that, like, you're not locked out of anything. Like, you're not soft-locked because you don't have, the thing you need. So next we are going west, Headstone Island. Again, we already checked the one on top of the, actual island. So it was, I think, just a yellow rupee, so we'll be skipping that too. Can also unequip the, Knight's Quests now. Alright, we're almost there. I actually don't see the column of light. I think it is on the other side, so it might be, yeah, it's blocked by this little rock spire here. That's another place we have to go back to, I think, is Rock Spire. Oops, that is not the right button. Now I'm completely lost where this is. This is treasure chart 40 apparently, so towards the back half of the grouping. About here. So I'm used to the Wind Waker HD controls where like pressing A activates it instead of pressing the button again. Like you use the D-pad button to actually activate it, and then you press A to lower it. So a little thrown off by that, I think. Well, that was anticlimactic, so we are 0 for like 4 now on checks. Again, this is the frustrating part. We only have 2 items left that we actually need. It's just how long will it take to actually get any of these? Alright, so this one is actually tied to a Triforce chart. So there's a chance that this could be something really good, or maybe I'm just being superstitious. And it'll just be an ordinary item. Again, Wind Waker probably isn't a good starting randomizer, just from the perspective of there's so many checks that it kind of ends up being overwhelming in a way that even other Zelda randomizers aren't. Like, where the heck is this? This is a Triforce chart? Oh wait, I'm right on top of it, that's why I don't see it. I don't think this is close enough, though. Nope, it's close enough. I'm actually surprised it gave me that, to be honest. I was definitely not lined up whatsoever. And we have a yellow rupee. Something tells me this is going to be how it is for a little bit, as we make our way through the charts. Alright, we're going in the right direction. We also don't have the mirror shield. We don't need it for anything except a couple of extra checks, like obviously dungeons. I'd prefer if we don't have to do the Earth Temple, personally. But something tells me we'll have to do the Earth Temple just because that is my least favorite. Probably in this game. I don't know if it actually is. Truth be told, it's like... Again, I feel like the Tower of the Gods is just a little bit slow in the first half, and also because of having to play the command melody so many times, but I actually don't mind it too much beyond that. Earth Temple is mostly redeads. Not really a fan of the redeads in this game. It's always the irony of Wind Waker having, like, scariest redeads, even though it is the cartoony game in the series. Alright, treasure chart 15. We must be close to being on top of it. Just gotta go forward a little bit, like maybe here? Nope, a little bit more. And that should be just about right. Again, it's a little bit of leeway. They give you a little bit of leeway at least, so it's not like you have to be uber precise. And it's more rupees. We're gonna max out the wallet again, aren't we? We're also missing the max upgrade for that, so that's something else I'm wondering if we'll even get. Again, hypothetically, we could be done with this really quickly, but again, I know my luck. It's probably gonna be the full, like, 3-hour stream, and we'll still be missing the arrows we need. If I can just get one of the arrow upgrades today, I'll count that as a win. Genuinely. Because that's how unconfident I am in my luck, that I fully expect we'll have to go through all of them in order to actually, like, get just the one item, or 1 or 2 items we actually need. There it is. Sometimes it is a little bit hard to see things in this game, because of the draw distance, so I almost went past the island, which would have been bad. Maybe about here? Yep, that counts. Again, I might have played Wind Waker too many times if I'm able to just eyeball, in a lot of cases, how close I need to be to actually get a chest. Like, I can just kind of eyeball, like, where I need to park the boat. Piece of heart. So the last one we can actually get in this row for now. There's still the cave, but again, we don't have the mirror shield. So we have to skip the angular aisles for now. But the last one in this row is the 5-star aisles, so we'll have to see what this gives us. This has been fun though. Again, randomizers are entertaining in my opinion because they kind of force you to approach a game that you might have played a ton of times in a very different way. So obviously this time we're having to approach Wind Waker in a much more fluid sense, a lot more open-ended. Let's see if that's good. Yep, we're good. Alright, so that is the last chest here. Then we'll be moving on to row 2, going from bottom to top. But unfortunately, that also has the problem of we are missing a treasure chart for the 5-eye reef, it looks like. We also could stop and do the Forest Haven. That's the other thing I'm contemplating right now, is do we try to knock this out. There's also like one, I don't know where it is. It says like small tree or small island chest. I don't know where that actually is because I don't remember that being important beyond like rupees. Therefore, I can't remember the last time I've gotten out of my way for it. I mean, it might be a piece of heart actually. We'll have to see when we get there. I feel like that one might be kind of important actually. I don't think that's close enough, actually. Nope, never mind. I'll eat my words. But yeah, looking through, we've done 3 of 6 dungeons. Nope, that is not good. This one is the Triforce Chart 5, so we'll have to go all the way over here, just slightly short. And we also have, like, Georgs circling us, which is not my favorite thing while trying to haul up treasure. Yeah, sometimes you can get, like, fake-out treasure chests. Okay, that cutscene cut off really abruptly for some reason. I don't know what happened there. I do feel like there's some merit in trying to get the Triforce charts first. Again, that might be a gambler's fallacy thing, in all fairness, but it almost feels like it would make sense to stash more important stuff in the, Triforce charts compared to the ordinary treasure charts, but again, it's pure random, so that's just a bit of superstition, basically. Yeah, there's a couple of small islands you can actually glide to, so that does raise the question of which one has the chest we are looking for. I don't even hear it, that's not close enough. 31. That was closer than I thought, given that I couldn't hear it. It does give a little faint hum of a song to kind of indicate that, like, you're close to it, but again, sometimes you need the actual chart to figure out the exact location of it. I also never marked the compass and map in the Forsaken Fortress, or any of the dungeons, really. We had to have gotten all of those because we finished the dungeons. There are no more checks left. Yeah, we might as well stop and do this, I suppose. This might take a bit, actually. It's been a bit. But we can also kind of circumvent a few things just by the nature of having every item going into this. There's also the hatch. It's already open, though. That's interesting. So, like, normally you'd have to go through a little bit of an ordeal to actually open up the Nintendo gallery, but it looks like it's already open for some reason. I actually don't know why it's already open. Like, I don't think there would be anything in there, given that there's nothing indicating as such in the tracker. But now I'm curious about something as we fight this Octorok. Yeah, it doesn't even seem like in any setting there's anything tied to the Nintendo gallery, which is very fortunate, I'd say. I actually don't know if you... And yeah, you could, because Errol is in the pirate ship as we saw before, so this would actually be possible. It just would be very time consuming, and also a little bit painful having to go through like every photo to do that. But the other problem with that would be you also have what am I trying to say? You also have the problem of, in this version, you can only hold 3 photos at a time. In HD, you can hold a lot more, so that's another downside of this version in particular. Again, there's a lot of quality of life, arguably the most of any of the remasters they've done. Maybe even more than Ocarina, I'd say. Like, Ocarina 3D does have some quality of life improvements, but I would say fewer than this, to be honest. It's also probably the most ambitious, though again, I have a feeling if you took out the bloom in HD, it actually probably wouldn't look that different, if I'm being honest. At least that's my gut check on it. I personally don't think it would be that different looking. It's just mainly a lighting change. I don't even know if the models are that different, in all fairness. Oh shoot, I pressed the wrong button there. That's awkward. Luckily, these do restore your magic a little bit, so it's not the end of the world that I screwed up there. Obviously, it will be a smidge more time-consuming, but still not bad. This is actually my least favorite dungeon approach of this game, though, just by the nature of having to do a very precarious glide to actually get to the Forbidden Woods. Like, this is definitely one of the tougher glide sections, I'd say. That's mandatory, because obviously you have the flight challenge. What is a small island? Is it that, actually? I think that's it. But now I'm like, how do you get over there? And should we do that first? Actually, no. This is right. We actually have to go the other way. That's for the Nintendo Gallery. I also don't know why it's called the Nintendo Gallery when it's only Zelda figures. Alrighty, luckily there's this big patch of grass to give us a refill of magic, and then we're good to go. So yeah, is the small island in question... It's gotta be that one, actually. I don't know if I should do that now or later, to be honest. There's not really a good time to ever get this one, I'm pretty sure. Or if this is even the best way to approach that island. Maybe we'll go back for that. I need to scope that out more, I think. Wind Waker, because we actually do have to change the wind direction this time. The other problem with this particular glide section is there are peahats flying all around where you have to land, and it can actually be really annoying if you finally line up the cyclone, and then you get sniped at the very end by a peahat. You know what? I should have done this sooner because these also give you gold feathers. This would have saved me a lot of, like, I wouldn't have had to grind out gold feathers if I had just gone here first. So that was a miscalculation on my part. Again, this is the first randomizer I've done of this game, so, well, at least this far into it, because again, I did try a randomizer years ago, but I got walled eventually. Just by what I think was a soft lock, because no check was showing up as, like, accessible. Unless there's some, like, really obscure thing I was forgetting, that I accidentally did not see in the tracker somehow. Again, assuming it was not human error on my part, I feel like I might have soft-locked it, which is possible from what I gather. It's just generally unlikely because they typically do have like soft-lock prevention in place. But again, knowing my luck, it wouldn't surprise me if I find a very rare soft-lock in something like that. Alrighty, so Forest, or Forbidden Woods, we have first room. Very descriptive. but also we can actually cheese a lot of this, to be honest. Actually, we should also keep the grappling hook, because we will have a lot of things that we need the boomerang for. It says there's a chest in here, and I'm like, where the heck is it? Never mind, it's the thing I just opened up. Also, I didn't need to farm all the green choo-choos, because there's like so many in this dungeon. So again, I probably should have just done this sooner, to mitigate having to farm items as much as I did. Alrighty, I like this. It's kind of like a small Deku tree in a way. Like sort of a fake Deku tree, because it kind of looks like it has like eyes and a nose. Makes me wonder if it is like an alternate Deku tree of some sorts. Inside the hollow tree's mouth, so we got that. Climb to the top using the Boko Baba bulb. So first of all, we need to get a bulb, like here. I want to say it's this one. Nope, it's not this one. This one. Never mind, it's right over here. It's already opened up. We actually don't need those either, I think, because I think that's also considered a longer quest, maybe? At least it didn't show up in the tracker at all. I actually don't know why, because Boko Babas aren't that hard to farm. There are plenty of them in here. Alright, so on top of the... What does it say? Climb to the top using Boko Baba bulbs. So, I'm trying to remember what's actually up here. Because that's the way forward. Unless it's not this room. That is a possibility. Or it's higher up. That's the other option. Yeah, it's actually higher up. That's it. But yeah, we actually can skip a lot of this dungeon by nature of having the boomerang. We don't have to fiddle around with the little things you have to toss at the things guarding chests and doors and such. The vines, basically. We can just use the boomerang. Compass. That is not particularly helpful. I also feel like this dungeon is pretty light on keys, so that's something else that'll be interesting going forward, is how many keys we find. Because I really don't remember too many locked doors. It's mostly just vines covering stuff, so more puzzle-based. You know, something else I'm thinking about. Which Zelda has the most items outside of dungeons? So for example, you got the Deku Leaf and, like, the Iron Boots, the Ice and Fire Arrows, the Power Bracelet. You get all that stuff outside of dungeons, and, like, which Zelda game would actually have the most item checks not within dungeons, or, like, key items within dungeons, like, equipment? I feel like it would probably be Skyward Sword, actually, because there's one, a lot of items in that game, and two, a lot of setup. It's something I really realized going through Tears of the Kingdom, I want to say, where, like, dungeon approaches are something I really like in the series, actually, and Skyward Sword and, obviously, like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I think do the best job of having, the approach to the dungeon feel like a challenge in itself in a way that almost feels like it's still part of the dungeon. Like, if you boil down the, like, dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom to just the dungeons themselves, I almost feel like that's, not entirely what was intended, because I do almost feel like there was some intention to have the, lead up to also feel like a dungeon. Specifically, I think of, like, the Zora Temple in Tears of the Kingdom, all the build up to that almost feels like a dungeon in itself with some of the puzzles. So, where are we going, actually? I'm pretty sure I don't want to knock this down yet, though. That's my gut check at the moment. So we will leave that for now and see where else we can go for now. There's one down here. These don't really hurt you, they just slow you down, so you don't have to worry too much. Joy Pendant, that is very useless. It's always fascinating how in Zelda games like this, there's a slight pause when you actually hit an enemy. So when you actually do a spin attack and take out a bunch of enemies, the game just feels like it's slowing down a lot. But it's not really slowing down, it's more so just like the effect of it going off a ton in a row, basically. So it is very interesting in that regard. Actually, yeah, this is a straight shot to this one. This has to be a key, right? We're running out of places to look for keys. There has to be one here, I think. Like, in this particular room, because there is another chest somewhere. We also just have bombs. We're not really supposed to yet. Oh yeah, that's another item, bombs. You got those from the pirates on Windfall, so that's another example of like a lot of the equipment is obtained outside of dungeons. I almost feel like, in general, the items that you get in dungeons are more specific to Wind Waker in a way, like the grappling hook. At least this was the first game to have the grappling hook, though it did show up later on as well. But that doesn't really hold up because there's also the the arrows, obviously, that's in every game. There's the boomerang. Okay, we might have a problem here, actually, if we don't find a key before too long. Tall room before mini-boss. I think we might be able to do that, but we'll have to check. So yeah, I really take that back. It's mostly just the grappling hook as a new item. Most of the dungeons do have returning items. I wonder if up there is what it means. So yeah, we should check all this stuff before dropping the tree, even though I think there are ways to get through otherwise. It'll still be easier if we actually knock all this stuff out now, instead of like later when we don't have all the extra goodies to make getting through a little bit simpler. I say that, and yet I'm also like struggling to figure out how to get over there if I'm going about this the wrong way, because I think that's the mini-boss room. I'm like, do they intend for us to drop the tree now? Because that's what it feels like. So hey, let's go for it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's only for getting back up, so it won't really be a problem. There's also this that we can actually do out of order. Like, as soon as we get the boss key, we can just go do that. We really don't have anything stopping us at the moment. This should be the double moth yellow room, right? Yep. Again, I really should have just saved all the item collecting for the stream. But again, I wanted to save time, ended up actually costing more time than anything. It'd be funny if this was the boss key, just because then we could just go straight to it. Though that means we'd also have to go back over to this dungeon later. So it wouldn't really be worth it. Just looking at how everything is laid out right now, it does feel like they want us to go down first to the basement floor. There's only one key in this dungeon. That's also interesting to note because, again, I thought there were only like 1 or 2. So yeah, looking at the tracker, there is only one locked door, not tied to like, you know, just vines covering it. So a very interesting dungeon. A lot of dungeons in Wind Waker feel very different, for better or worse. Again, there were some that were just outright cut, for example. Well, one that was cut, the, whichever one would have tied into Jabun, or Great Fish Isle. I do wonder how late of a change that was. For example, if, like, you were supposed to get bombs in that dungeon, and that would totally change up everything. Because if you don't have bombs, then, or if you got bombs there, then that takes away the entire, Windfall detour. So I would be curious to see what the actual concept for that would have been. This is proving to be a very fruitless dungeon so far, which isn't, like, overly surprising to me in all fairness, but slightly disappointing / concerning nonetheless, because it means we'll probably end up having to do a lot more to actually get through the remaining checks that we need. And there's this whole ordeal. Actually, right over here should be the Tingle chest, so we'll stop and get this one. I actually don't know if it's on the minimap normally, since it's tied to the Tingle Tuner traditionally. So I actually don't know if this would appear, or if it would be hidden out of sight normally. And there's the key. Really weird place for that to be, actually. Why'd I jump straight at that? That was very unproductive. Ow. So the other chest in the room, you have to, like... Actually, do we have to do that at all? No, it's on the other side of the gate, so we actually do have to go through this whole section here. There's no way to, like, just boomerang it through the fence or anything. Which is kind of a bummer. It would be kind of funny, actually, being able to just circumvent the entire set piece with the items we have. The game does not like my positioning at the moment. Not having a good time. Okay. I actually didn't know that could happen. Tossing it too early, but still locking on. We can skip a little bit of this, actually, can we? Yeah, we can, I think. Because we don't need to go all the way across to get a bomb, because we just straight up have bombs. So we can just, you know, go over here. Drop one in. This might be a little bit tricky though, because it is actually guarded, so we need to kinda... I don't know if that does not work, okay. So it does look like you have to drop it from above. But that also raises the question of, at least they did prevent you from being soft-locked. Though I actually don't know if that gate raises up normally. I think you actually do have to crawl out, typically. I also need to re-equip this. So yeah, you have to hit this from afar, therefore we'll toss it from up here. That should be good enough to get that. Hi, Storm. Thank you for the redeem. Again, I need to voice train more in general. I also feel like I need to come up with other things to say than just, the old reliable of heat from fire, fire from heat. See, like, I can do that really well, and then I immediately fall out of it. I don't know how to maintain it, mostly just because maybe I just sort of slip into a more femme voice just to say that one part, and then kind of fall out of it because it's not comfortable to maintain that for very long. But that is something I actually, you know, actively need to think about more and get better at. Though, again, even right now, I don't think my voice is in terribly, like, particularly, you know, poor shape or anything. It's just a personal preference thing where I almost do feel like I wish it was a little bit lighter, but also I feel like I have to put a lot more thought into just kind of maintaining this tone of voice constantly. So while I'm playing a game, it gets a little bit tough because then I have to actually think about multiple things at the same time, which can be a little bit tricky because I tend to lose focus very much when trying to, like, do multiple things at once. One of the fascinating things about trying to stream is trying to get better at juggling activities, basically. I don't know if this even sounds good, or if it just sounds a little bit forced or not. Because I can't hear myself besides my own voice, like the way I hear myself inside my own head, which is always a little bit off from what it sounds like to everyone else. You like it? Thank you. I'm also, like, tempted to say you're very biased, though. Alright, here we go. Wait, there's no moblin here. That's interesting, because there's supposed to be a mini-boss. Guilty. Alright, not bad. So this should be the big key normally. You're doing good, dear. Keep at it. Thank you, I see. Also, hi. Well, we have the boss. Oh, there it is. I forgot this actually after getting the key. Big key chest. Again, I really didn't need to farm out all those items in the end. I could have just moved on with my life. Call your ass a gear the way you be guilty. I appreciate that joke. Alright, that should get us out of this room at least. So, that's another game I'm tempted to stream again, is Strive, just to get better at it. And I almost feel like having to do it on stream would keep me from getting as salty, because if I'm having to, like, you know, perform in a sense, I might kind of, like, not get as salty as I would otherwise, but who knows. I'm currently on floor 9 and managed to get back up there, because I went there, immediately fell back down, because I got just a really bad string of luck. Maybe try to say a rhyme with it, like heat from fire from heat. Do I want to pat the Pete? I appreciate that rhyme. Esper, thank you. What are those rupees for? I didn't know rupees fell. Oh, these are the ones on top of the tree normally, but since it's, you know, lowered. Okay. I actually don't know if we have enough time for this now. We do, okay. But also I feel like I'm in an awkward place with Strive, because I feel like I am forgetting a lot of fundamentals, like dash canceling, Roman cancels, you know, Wild Assault. Though, from what I understand with Dizzy, it's typically not the best course of action, just by the nature of how much her, meter is better served for other things. That's kind of the interesting thing about Strive and putting so much emphasis on, like, RC and everything, is basically certain characters benefit more from, like, Wild Assault or Roman cancels, others benefit from saving it for other things. And given that Dizzy basically has, like, a 60% overdrive when not blocked, or alternatively Wings of Light, which does basically the same amount of damage, there's sort of the recurring question of, is it better to actually just, you know, use that meter for, like that instead of, like, an RC? Though I am trying to get better at, like, dash cancel RC. I don't even remember if that's the term for it. It is weird actually kind of getting this invested into the game though after, like, what, 4 years almost? It's this interesting situation that I kind of experienced a little bit with Smash Bros. Ultimate. Again, I've talked about this before, but I really didn't get into Ultimate until, like, Joker to start out. And then also Pyra and Mithra was when I really got into Ultimate. Even then, I kind of bailed eventually, just because the netcode in Smash is so, like, notoriously, not good. So I kind of bailed pretty fast on it still. But again, Pyra and Mithra was the most I had ever invested into Smash Ultimate. Where am I, actually? Wrong button. This is actually the way back, so we should do this one first. Yeah, that's the way out, because you get the boomerang over here. I don't know, I just feel like it's really hard to maintain resonance for me. I actually play Smash Wired most of the time, and I still found the input delay to be, like, almost unplayable at times. Alright, Locula. A lot less annoying than the Link to the Past version, at least. IMO. I'm not really a Link to the Past fan, though. Maybe I'm too much I don't know. Ooh, like, not Wi-Fi like that, okay. That's fair, just in general. Yeah, that's my one request, like, whenever everyone's like, what do you want to see in the next Smash Bros? My answer is rollback. That is literally it. Again, I'd love for anyone to help with the netcode of that game. We need the boomerang. Like, online Smash versus IRL competitive, yeah. Like, rollback is really nice, again, being able to play Strive, and obviously it is dependent on the individual connections of the people playing, still. But still being able to, like, match with someone in, like, Japan and have a pretty decent online experience, that's, like, a really good feeling. Like, just being able to boot up Strive and, you know, not be willing to pull my hair out as much based on netcode issues alone. Though there are netcode issues, I've definitely fought people who are, like, on, like, 7 frames of rollback, and it just feels awful. It feels like playing a game in slow motion, which is still better than Smash, ultimately, in some ways. In terms of, like, how it handles, like, slowdown. Versus, like, Smash just, like, hanging up all sorts, like, hanging up for long periods of time and being virtually unplayable. Why didn't that work, actually? I'm very confused. So yeah, when people ask me, like, what do you want to see out of the next Switch? And everyone's like, I want them to bring back Street Pass. I want them to bring back Miiverse. My answer is, I want Hall Effect sensors, because I do not want drift to be as prevalent as it was this gen. I want everyone to switch to Hall Effect. Because even like PS5 and Series X have a lot of drift issues. They're just not as reported as much because they're like marginally more like stable than Joy-Con analog sticks, but that's not really saying a whole lot. Weirdly enough, I've always had more problems with PS controllers than Nintendo. Like, my PS4 controllers and PS3 controllers all drifted, like, really fast. I want to say I had a DualShock 4 for PS4 that drifted within, like, a year. It was, like, the fastest I've ever seen a controller drift, but it also went through very unique circumstances, shall we say. I'm not sure if I should elaborate, because that's a whole ordeal of my life that I'm not sure if I want to recount on stream. Also, I do apologize if I sound really off today. It's partly just because I am feeling not great health-wise, because there was like a huge storm in the area, and that tends to mess up my respiratory system quite a bit, just like air pressure rising and dropping. Alright, I think we're actually done here. So all that's left is the boss, so we'll go fight them and move on. I actually don't even know how long that took. I've not really been paying attention. Yeah, that took like half an hour, 45 minutes maybe. Again, not too shabby, all things considered. I also need to remember to drink more. To be honest, I have not been hydrating. Alright, so we have this boss now. This one isn't too bad, though. Again, I actually forgot to look up if the Master Sword makes a difference for boss kills or not. You can one-cycle this pretty easily. normally, I'm pretty sure. But again, I can't tell, because sometimes it feels like the Master Sword does more damage, but other times it doesn't. Wow, that's, again, similar to, one of the other bosses we fought that is actually objectively worse, because it's a fourth of what we would normally get from this fight. So that was really not worth it. We didn't get a single, like, main item in the entire dungeon. It was just rupees. We're back up to 1,000 already, and that's, like... That's after, like, 14 treasure chests or something. So that'll put us back here. Question number 2 is, how do we get to that island? What is the best way to get over there? Is it to go to the top of the tree and glide, or is it to approach from another angle? So that is what we need to figure out now. That is the chest in question. That is not high up enough, though. So yeah, we actually do have to climb the tree again. Here's another check I need to do right away, now that I'm thinking about it. One more, spoils chest, or check. Which is the Rito who wants the gold feathers. Partly because I think the girlfriend in question sends a letter, which means we also need to buy time for the letter to arrive. Actually, do we even need the grappling hook? We actually do. That was a mistake. I don't know how that worked, but I'll take it. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing alright. Again, not great week for me, but again, that's a little bit of a, that's not really a surprise kind of a moment, I suppose, at this point, with how I talk about my life on stream. I keep hoping we'll get to, like, oh, maybe this year will be better, but, so far that has not been the case, and I feel like I'm just jinxing things by saying, I hope things will be better next year. This is the opposite of where I want to be. This is dumb. I actually don't know how, like, collision works, for here, so this is gonna be an experiment, I suppose. Like, if these are sectioned off, basically, or if these are, like, still counted as the overworld, basically. I don't really know for sure, but we'll give this a try. It's worth a shot. Hey, it actually works. Cool. So, that island over there doesn't seem like there's anything, like, in the way at least, so it looks like a straight shot, relatively speaking. I'm facing this way. I haven't really marked a lot of the mini-boss or, like, dungeon stuff, really. Which is funny, because, like, we've obviously completed these, so I must have gotten everything, but I didn't actually mark that we had the compass in the dungeon. Not that it matters, it's just kind of a perfectionist thing of having everything properly checked off. And the treasure chart, that is not particularly helpful. Well, it could be helpful. Charts. 12 and 14. So view charts number 12, number 14. I think those are the only two we got here. So that's Gods, Tower of the Gods, and that's 5i. So we can't actually go back and get one I missed. Or, well, we'll be able to get one in this row, more accurately. So yeah, I think we'll stick to the same pattern. Also, we're kind of screwed over here. I'm just gonna save and quit, because I think I'll be faster than swimming over, to be honest. Huh, there's a beam of light here. This is new. I don't know where this goes. This probably goes to the Forbidden Woods, right? Yeah. Which means I'm actually, like, stuck again, and now I'm gonna be all the way across again, so I need to save and quit a second time. But I mean, it's cool that they give you that option. It's just unfortunate that I, did not think that through very well. Which letter even is this? This is probably from Orca, right? Oh, this is a little bit late. What's the requirement for this one? Forbidden Woods. So yeah, we're getting this letter after actually giving him the Knight's Crest, so that's very awkward. It makes sense that they give you this now, though, because of, getting the... Oh, well, wait, you'd have the grappling hook anyway. So yeah, there's, like, no real reason to give it to you now, or give you that letter now, other than maybe you'll be running into Darknets, sooner at this point compared to in Dragon Roost, where there's not really a chance to see Darknets to get items from. Again, the logic is kind of interesting to see, like, what unlocks when is a fun part of randomizers. I also feel like it's a lot of work to talk like this, partly just because, again, I don't have the best, like, respiratory system at times, so this kind of takes time to get used to because it's projecting differently in a way that's kind of tiring, actually. Looks like it's on the other side of the island, so we'll just circle around here. Actually, this one makes it easy, because you have the little rings to kind of guide you through. Do I like that? No, this is better. I like how we said that and then immediately go to a menu so I can't see where the rings were. This is not correct. Ice ring! This should be... Wait. We didn't actually get a letter? Did I not mail that? No, I did mail that. Huh. Because it says there's one from Baito. Oh, it says Earth Temple. Oh. Well, we won't be getting that for a bit. But I also forgot we need to actually look at what this is. This is treasure chart 17. Just shy. Back here, I'd say. You also can't use it right away, so that's something else to keep in mind. Sometimes you can actually overshoot just because it won't let you do the input. Yeah, I might have overshot this time, actually. Yeah, I overshot. So now we have to go backwards a little bit. This is also at the very edge of the frame, which does not help for readability of finding this. Yeah, basically, initializing the grappling hook will cause things to stop. Well, will cause the boat to stop. But the other problem is, if it's already out, then pressing it again won't do anything right away. So that's the weird quirk of that. Alright, that was not helpful. Again, heart containers aren't the most helpful thing in this game, partly just because this is probably one of, like... I wonder what it would be considered the easiest Zelda to do a 3-heart run for. I'm actually trying to think of that now. I feel like this would be a relatively easier 3-heart run. Twilight Princess wouldn't be too bad unless you add on additional challenges, which a lot of people do, for HD specifically. Because there's the hero mode that, 1, mirrors the game, which is very odd to me, and 2, the Ganondorf amiibo, which also doubles health again. So hypothetically, you can do a 3-heart, 4 times damage run through hero mode and the Ganondorf amiibo stacked in Twilight Princess HD. So that is like the ultimate challenge, which is interesting, because inherently I feel like Twilight Princess is probably, on paper, one of the easier Zelda games, just because damage output is low. It's always something that's kind of confused me about Twilight Princess, because it was meant more, you know, people always say this is the kiddie one, but I almost feel like the damage output in Twilight Princess is so low, which almost contradicts the, like, grittier tone of that game. It's an interesting choice to make that game, like, make everything deal like a quarter heart of damage. You eventually get up to enemies that deal a full heart, which does, again, create problems if you're doing a 4 times damage run. But in typical play, it doesn't really feel like Twilight Princess is terribly difficult. I feel like some of these cutscenes are not loading properly, like some are taking longer, some are skipping around. And I almost feel like it's a case of like, some speed-ups that were done for this randomizer mod are causing issues with like animation playback. The other thing I have to remember is this on a timer? I think it might be on a timer, which will prove to be a little bit interesting, actually. Alright, I should, as a result, equip everything I need. I mean, I guess the boomerang might speed things up, but not really. Also, I'm very glad I don't have to do sunken trees, even though, or like, the tree quest, even though, in general, it wouldn't be that bad, because we actually do have, the Swift Sail, so even with 20 minutes, it would be more than enough time. Is there one on top, or it's up here? I don't think that was fast enough. Never mind, that was fast enough. That also causes a, like, cyclone to appear. I assume to get up to the top, but that's only rupees, so we'll avoid that. Okay, so you actually do have to activate these quickly. But I guess that was fast enough. That felt really slow, though. So I'm, like, genuinely surprised that that was actually considered fast enough. Oh god, another one of these. The last one didn't go great, so we'll have to see how this one goes. Also, I'm not as concerned about saving this time, just because we haven't gotten anything. Like, if we end up having to, like, reset... Well, I actually did just save. What am I talking about? Like, you know, saving, you know, more frequently like we were on previous attempts, because, again, we haven't found anything worthwhile. So, like, if we lose progress at all, it doesn't really matter. It's like, heart pieces are nice, but again, as someone who has done a 3-heart run of this game, it's pretty doable. Only thing that I'd be a little bit worried about would be Phantom Ganon, not even Ganondorf directly, I'd say. Partly because that fight is a little bit easy to manipulate RNG on. I don't know if it's RNG, really, or just like manipulating an attack pattern to be more favorable. It's also interesting thinking about what is actually required in the game. Like, hypothetically, if you can skip everything, what do you actually need to get through? The irony is, even in a speedrun, you can actually skip quite a bit. I actually wonder now what you'd actually need to speedrun a randomizer. Because the speedrun typically uses, like, the Tingle Tuner, which I suppose you could get working on, like, specific setups, like hardware setups done a certain way, even on a randomizer. But it does raise the question of, like, what do you need to actually complete the game? Like, you could skip a lot of items, given that speedrunners already skip almost everything except, like, the Tingle Tuner, maybe the Deku Leaf, and I think that's about it, actually. I am currently on fire. That is not great. Oh, that's a lot of Wizzrobes. Do not like. Ow. They're at least appearing low on the ground, so that actually makes them way more doable, in terms of, like, makes it way more durable to fight them. When they're really high up, that's a problem, in my opinion, because then you're fighting, like, looking around with, frankly, not great aiming controls, while also, trying to fight all these other enemies. So yeah, luckily the Wizrobes were hanging relatively close to the ground and not flying up to the little alcoves up there. I actually don't know if there's a way to get up there without, like, you know, bomb hovering or anything. From what I gather, bomb hovering does still work. It's probably different than Ocarina, but there is still some way to gain height through, like, essentially bomb hovering of sorts. I almost feel like Ocarina of Time would be a fun game to speedrun, but I also don't really like Ocarina of Time normally very much, just because I feel like it is very dated. You can actually hit both armor pieces in one hit, but it can be a little bit tricky just because of, like, hit detection. I also wish you could also, like, dodge multiple attacks instead of just the one you're locked onto. That's a slight inconvenience of this. There we go, got the one. I almost feel like Wind Waker is sort of like a predecessor to the mechanics developed for Breath of the Wild. Because I want to say this is the first Zelda where you could regularly pick up enemy weapons and use them. Which ended up being a big staple of Breath of the Wild's combat system, where you can basically play it like an immersive sim, and just kind of wing it all the time, just picking up random stuff off the ground, and just, you know, defeating enemies with it, like break a sword and then pick up their sword and finish off the fight, kind of a thing. There's like an adaptability to Breath of the Wild that almost feels like it is sort of akin to being able to just pick up and, like, use or throw weapons from random enemies in this game. Why am I collecting everything? We're maxed out. A pair. That was a lot of effort for an item I have, like, 7 of already. Alright, that was a bust. But again, at this point, it's not really a surprise, because it's not like there's really much left for us, so, like, the odds of finding the exact thing we need are very slim, because we don't need that much. 5i! That is to the left. Treasure chart 12. This one says that bombs or the boomerang are required. I would disagree. You just have to be very fearless and very quick. Like, in and out, not like, not like taking your time, because the longer you dwell in a spot, the higher your odds of getting sniped are. But again, I don't really think you actually need to fight enemies to get the sunken treasure. I don't even see the beam of light yet. There it is. I thought that Georg was going to hit us also. Looks like it's right between two eyes, so that makes it a little bit easier actually. It's also on this side, which is nice. So it's relatively close. I might not be able to eyeball this one just because this rock is in the way, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know if this is right. I'm completely guessing. Maybe we do need the turrets out of the way for this. That was a total guess. I do not attribute that to, like, having played this game a million times. That was just pure luck. Like, I could kind of eyeball that it looked like it was between the two eyes. So I just kind of tried to position myself in a relatively good spot there. Well, we could have used that, like, 2 streams ago, to be honest. Again, the adult wallet is very good. It's just a case of, like, yeah, we really don't have a use for rupees anymore, so it's kind of like a little bit, you know, a little bit too late to be super helpful, unfortunately. Alright, diamond step. We have 2 sunken treasures here. We have, the big octo as well. Hero's bow or bombs or boomerang. That's an eclectic list of items to fight a big octo with. But first, we'll go after this treasure. I think I overshot it, actually. Yep, I overshot it. This one is treasure chart 23. I undershot it, okay. That is actually surprising to me. There we go. Again, the animation does feel like it's been sped up, which again, would probably explain why the one cutscene glitched out. It's almost surprising only one had an issue. Hey, another heart container, because we got so many heart pieces. Now the fun task of locating seagulls. Hypothetically, I feel like you're supposed to use the, telescope for things like this, but inherently we don't have it, so we just have to kind of eyeball this. They tend to be not super close to the islands directly, like kind of on the outer edge of the quadrant. There it is, I see the gulls. Why did I want to immediately go into an I Saw the TV Glow reference? I haven't even seen that movie. Nor do I really want to. I don't think it would agree with me, to be honest. I don't do well with horror, like has been previously established. Wow, my aim is bad here. I think I clipped a tentacle in that one. Like I would have hit, but just slightly too much, like, movement. I'm amazed it gave me that one, actually. That one went through it, okay. You can use arrows, it just takes, like, multiple arrows, so it can be a little bit scary trying to actually, time everything out there. So yeah, we've basically swept the entire lower quadrant except for the, like, 2 treasure charts we're missing an ice ring, because we don't have fire arrows. I wonder if they'll be connected. That's the other question I have, is, will the fire arrows be locked, or will the light arrows be tied to either ice ring or fire mountain? So, like, will they lead from one to the other, or are they completely disconnected? Because I want to say they're progressive checks, as they're called, where if you get one arrow up, it's just an arrow upgrade. Speaking of which, so, like, it probably wouldn't be behind Fire Mountain or Ice Ring, just because you actually need to get one of the progressive upgrades first, so it'd be easy to, like, limit your options then. Well, that was very fortunate, actually. We're gonna go for a change of pace then, because, frankly, that is one of 2 things we actually need, so I am gonna mix things up a little bit. Again, there's been a massive temptation to just look up a guide, to be honest, because we've been, like, hauling up treasure for so long at this point. It's just kind of getting absurd, because we're having to just manually check 50 quadrants, basically. The other fun thing at the end of a randomizer is you always have a spoiler log. Well, you don't have to have one, you can actually go without generating one, but I did anyway, just to check at the end. The one thing I'm really curious about for this playthrough is at the very end, going through the spoiler log and seeing what the route is exactly, because typically the spoiler logs for other games, as far as I understand them, tend to give items in order, or what the game's logic order is, essentially, or the seed's logic order. So it's like, go here first, get this item, then you can get this one, and so on, and just sort of the progression of it all. So I would almost be curious to see what the actual like, intended order of sorts would be for that. Well, that was not worth it, but, again, at least, we have peace of mind that we are done, with this particular location. You just never know. Again, we have 50 locations left, so... it could be a lot of places still. We'll have to wait in the letter, apparently, so... Actually, we have a lot to do now. But again, my gut check tells me it can't be locked behind anything tied to Fire Mountain or Ice Isles, just by the nature of... Again, this is going off an assumption, which might be a mistake. Actually, assuming that the era upgrades are progressive and not, like, standalone. Because if they're progressive, then, yeah, hiding the light arrows behind one of the two islands almost doesn't feel as likely. I don't know why I'm making this assumption, actually. That doesn't actually make sense, now that I'm thinking about it. It's like, I could easily be here. Again, this is just me making stuff up on the fly, because I've never done this before. I overshot that for sure. Never mind, I'll eat my words again. It'd be nice if this is just it, because then we'll just be able to go to the end game. But I have my doubts over that, yeah. There's actually a lot we can do here. Alright, we might as well, again, for the sake of curiosity, we're gonna take care of this. Oh yeah, this is on a time limit. Ice Ring is the one I'm more worried about. That's the one I always struggle with. Fire Mountain isn't bad. Actually, how much can we cheese Ice Ring, since we already have the Iron Boots? Like, could we go the opposite path of normal and just skip a bunch? I also can never remember if you're supposed to go left or right. We have to go right. Also, I feel like there's a structure in Mario Galaxy that's somewhat similar, like the Lava Spire in whatever the, like, second to last galaxy is. It's not like that similar, but just kind of something I thought of as, like, you know, climbing up a lava mountain with a time limit. Though in that case, it's more of a rising lava problem. That's a game I should play on stream, Mario Galaxy. Because it's been a hot minute, because I did play the Switch version twice, I think. But, well, the Luigi playthrough. But maybe I should go through that again. Because, yeah, it has been a bit since I've played Galaxy, and that is probably one of my favorite Mario games. I kind of go back and forth, because Galaxy does have some things I'm not, like, super crazy about. The big thing with Galaxy is just a couple, like, mini-games are really frustrating. Another weird quirk of these enemies is you can actually use the Skull Hammer to destroy them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2 hits from the Skull Hammer will actually take out these, like, enemies, which is really, like, specific, like, that they gave you this option. Again, it's nice when games do give you options, though, of, like, how to approach a situation. I do like games with a lot of flexibility, to be honest. That's more of a personal preference choice. Some do prefer more, like, bespoke design, I'd say. But I personally do generally like games that have a lot of options. Alright, so that was not helpful. When you have a tracker, it doesn't really help you to know the locations of things. Alright, Lookout Platform Chest and Lookout Platform Destroy the Cannon. So it looks like there's 2 tied to the Lookout Platforms here. I should have jumped off the other side of the mountain, because now I have to go all the way around. I'm actually still trying to figure out how I'm gonna upload these, like, to YouTube, because I do have a YouTube channel for, like, highlights and stuff, because, like, I could cut out a lot of these streams. Like, I'm trying to decide how much I should keep and how much I should, leave out, but the inherent problem is I tend to talk a lot on stream. So it's really hard to just cut ahead and then be in the middle of a bizarre tangent and then not have any context for it, though maybe that is funnier that way. So yeah, I count this as a win. We got one of the 2 items we needed, which I did say was something I was hoping for. Why did I climb up? I need to destroy the cannons. I actually don't know how to destroy the cannons because it's a really tall tower. I think it might be better to use this. And we'll have to go one at a time, I think, just because of the auto tracking on it. You know, thinking about it, I feel like my voice is a little bit harsh sounding, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. That is a case of, like, that's something I need to work on to sound more femme, is to try to, like, you know, talk a little bit lighter, a little bit more, like, I don't know how, I mean, that's just resonance, probably, to be fair, and I feel like my resonance is kind of hit or miss, just depends on how much effort I'm putting into it. But also, I feel like I'm definitely overthinking this to some degree. Alright, cannons are taken care of, so let's climb back up here. I also don't know if they sped up climbing or not. This feels comparable, but I feel like there's an option in the better Wind Waker version that basically takes out the randomizer portion but keeps the quality of life stuff. I want to say there is an option for like faster climbing, but that might be more for something else, more like for climbing up a rope or something, but again, I don't remember the options for sure. Alrighty, another treasure chart here. While we're up here, apparently the final check of this area is a big octo. But at a glance from up here, I don't see anything, so we might as well just move on. Yeah, I don't see any gulls around, period. Actually, I think they're closer to the mountain, normally. But where the heck? Oh, there it is. Oh, wait, there we go. Found it by accident. I also don't know how many eyes there are on this one. Decent amount. Yeah, they have different amounts of eyes, which can make it a little bit tricky, because some, you have to put in a lot more work to actually defeat than others. This is not going great so far. I'm missing a lot of these shots. You can lock onto the eyes too, which does help with like the bow, for example. Hit the tentacle again. We have 6 bombs left. I need to actually pay attention. There we go. It turns out talking while trying to aim a cannon at a giant octopus is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And yeah, one of the fun parts of streaming is trying to get better at talking at the same time as trying to concentrate on something else. Splitting my brain in 2 directions. Alright, it would help if I have the grappling hook out already. That might not be close enough, but we'll see. That was close enough. Alright. So we're done at Fire Mountain for sure. So yeah, now it's just a matter of hitting up all the remaining checks and seeing what we find. Skull necklace. The other main concern I have at the moment is Wind Temple. I'm putting it off because we don't have the Wind God's aria. However, it says we can actually do 10 checks there. So there's this sort of fear I am overthinking this and thinking, oh, we probably don't need to go there because we don't have everything to complete it. But like, what if 1, the Wind God's aria is in there, or 2, what if the light arrows are in there? In which case, I'm just like delaying completion because I'm overthinking how the randomizing actually works. Wait, why am I going here? I should go to Ice Ring next. Get this out of the way, because I don't like Ice Ring very much. So just get this out of the way and not have to worry about it. Wait, am I even going in the right direction? That is right. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the cave entrance. Yeah, once again, I hope everyone's doing alright today. Been an interesting month, to say the least, and it is far from over. And definitely some interesting things coming up towards the end of the month as well for me personally. I might try to do a makeup stream, as in making up for a missing Wednesday at some point in the next few days or so. I don't know when it would be exactly, just because of like scheduling and everything. But I might try to do a bonus stream of sorts on like Tuesday, which would be tomorrow actually, or a Tuesday, or a Thursday most likely, just for the sake of not having to worry about like noise or interruptions or anything, which are more likely on weekends, even though that would be more convenient for my personal schedule. It just would have some other issues. Alright, so there are two more here. One is tied directly to the Iron Boot check, or chest, but the other one is a little bit complicated because I actually, truth be told, don't know if the timer stops if we get the Iron Boots chest. I assume it would, because that's how it normally would work. And I think that happened for Fire Mountain too. But also, I hate this part coming up here. I really hate this jump here, trying to jump across the ice. Because, you know, ice physics are bad enough as is when you're not having to worry about, like, precision platforming. It's like you're playing a Mario Party minigame, trying to get through here in a time limit. Like, this part, you actually can slip like that, but you also can easily not have enough momentum to make that jump, so yeah, I think we got through the hard part of this because we will be able to skip the other annoying part, which is going down an ice slide with Keese attacking. Right? Can we skip that? Yeah, we can. So we'll just do this. Go the long way around, or the short way actually, this is the shortcut back. Yeah, prioritizing this chest because I'm hoping it stops the timer. Orange rupee! And yeah, the timer's done, so we can take our time getting the second chest inside the cave. The other question I have right now is, if we'll even have to do the remaining two temples, or if we can just kind of skip them. I'm almost leaning towards being able to skip them, if I had to guess, like, you know, how much we have left, basically. You know, another annoying thing about the Nintendo Gallery is not having some of these variations of enemies being easy to find outside of like one key area. So like there are specific dark nets that are counted differently, but are really annoying to actually track down if you don't fight them early on. Same with like just Octoroks actually, past them appearing in the Forest Haven before the clearing the Forbidden Woods. It can actually be tricky finding them in the Great Sea, from personal experience, because I think I had to do that. Again, the Nintendo Gallery is also a fun challenge, and by fun I mean very time-consuming and frustrating. But also, it's one of those that kind of forces you to approach the game differently if you are going for it. Because you actually can basically route out everything, especially on New Game Plus, where you have all of the you have everything available to you, basically, which might not be the case on a standard playthrough. Less likely in Wind Waker HD, because you don't have to do as much to get the deluxe Picto Box in HD compared to in the original, where they're like separate items. But I think the Picto Box in the Wii U version just is in color and works for everything. So yeah, I actually find that a lot more convenient, if anything. Alright, so far so good. Clearing out this area. Also, typically, I would probably have gone after the other chest after taking care of the time limit, but since I was fairly confident that the time limit, one, would stop, and two, that we wouldn't have to worry about it because of just being able to go around the shortcut area, because we have the iron boots, I wasn't overly concerned about, like, the time limit, so that's why we got this chest on the outside. It's kind of interesting. It feels like we've done a lot, but, like, there's still 43 checks to go here right now, and that's without everything. Hypothetically, we still have an extra, like, 30 after that that we can't access yet. Though some of those are probably just locations that don't have anything. Like, you know, Savage Labyrinth, we're not doing. The Withered Trees, we're not doing. The Guan Trading, we're not doing. So that does shave off a lot of time. Since we're actually going to be kind of in the vicinity, I might also try to go to Hyrule, just to take care of the checks there. Just the peace of mind of, like, what if everything's, like, at the end game all along, and I'm putting it off because I don't want to go down there and then immediately have to go back later. And it could just be there. So, might check there while we're in the area. So there's 2 in the labyrinth. There's 1 big octo here. So that'll take a bit. I also don't remember how the hell you get through this. So this'll be fun. It's kind of funny. There are some games where I have things very specifically memorized, but this is definitely a case where I do not. Like, I don't remember the actual layout of the inside of the cabana. This is actually an easy one to find, because I'm pretty sure this guy's facing where the big octo is. Alright, let's see what this is. We're actually running out of letter checks. There's only 1 more, but that's tied to completing the Earth Temple. So that'll be a bit. And we do need the deed to get through here. Lady Linkle, I like that. That's cool. I wasn't sure what they would change that to. Alright, so we can actually take care of this. Actually, how quickly can I find a map of this area? As I'm actively dreading having to do this. Also, there's redeads here, so that's the other problem. Alright, so this isn't probably the best map, but this will get the job done, hopefully. Alright, let's give this a shot. So, first of all, looks like we want to go over here. We actually don't need these rupees, but I'm picking them back up anyway. So drop down here. And then we have 2 passageways, right? Okay. So this one goes there. Ow. This is actually really hard to read. I feel like it'll take longer trying to parse this map I found online. I'm just going for it, to be honest. Looks like it might be this way. Or actually might be the other way, now that I'm looking at this. Oh, this just goes to chars. But that's a lot of rupees that we don't need anymore. See, now I'm kind of concerned in a way, because, like, we're so close to the end of this randomizer seat that I'm afraid we're gonna get to the end, and literally all that's gonna be left is like one thing, and that'll be all that the next stream is, like just this one item, and then like the final boss, and that'll be the entire stream. Just be really short. But I can always toss in another game, obviously. Alright, there goes that. So next up, we want to go down here, it looks like, which should take us to another junction, it looks like. Do we want to go through this one first? That's what it looks like on the map, assuming that yellow dot on the map is a treasure chest. But something tells me there's gonna be like a re-dead here or something. Nope, it's just a straight shot. That's very convenient, actually. Surprisingly nice of this particular area of the game. So next we want to go the other way. This is actually really easy to get through. I don't know why child me had such a hard time with this, to be honest. And now that I'm like looking at a map, it's like this is actually really easy. It's just the first section has several branching paths, so I tended to go in a circle a lot. But in actuality, the rest of it's pretty easy. Like, everything is pretty linear at this point. Alright, open up this, and this should be where the re-deads are. When we drop down here, I'm already Z-targeting, which is always a good sign. Alright, one down. Trying to attack a re-dead dead on is definitely a mistake. Somehow worked out, okay. And this should go directly to the Triforce chart, quote-unquote Triforce chart. Because it's actually going to be probably like a rupee or a piece of art or something, knowing my luck. Again, I'd love for this to be the arrows so we can just go to the end game. Even the mirror shield would be interesting, because that means we have at least, you know, an idea of where to go. If the game is like pushing us towards the Earth Temple. And it is a piece of art, as I guessed. Okay. Wow, we already got another 4. I kind of lost track, but that also doesn't shock me, given how many we've been picking up here. It's always like a really fascinating situation where we haven't even done all, like, we've done like just over half of the temples, and we already have like almost max hearts. We're missing like, at this point, probably like 1 or 2 heart containers and like a handful of pieces of heart. Because I think we've only gotten 1 or 2. So yeah, we're actually making really good time on getting all the heart pieces, but again, I don't really want to find them at this point. We really don't need them for anything at this stage of the game. We definitely have enough to get through Ganon relatively pain-free, hopefully. So yeah, like I said before, I think I'm gonna try to satisfy my curiosity and go back to Hyrule, just to make sure that we aren't like going everywhere when the light arrows are just here the whole time. Actually, if they're in the Ganon maze, that would mean that this is a vanilla like item placement, which would be really nice while we're here, but I don't expect my luck to be that helpful. So yeah, now that we do have the Triforce assembled, we do have this opened up. I think this does require the Triforce in this particular in the randomizer specifically. Obviously, you go here before in the vanilla game, but in this case, it is locked to the Triforce. So yeah, like, what do you need to complete this game? It depends on if you have the boss fights turned on or off. I apparently have them off, given it says I can beat the game, and I definitely do not have the mirror shield, so they're definitely turned off. Also, do we have to fight all of the Dark Nuts in here? Doesn't look like it, but the game might surprise me as I try to go over here. Yeah, it looks like we do have to fight them. So yeah, these are like really rare variants of Dark Nuts. You have to basically photograph them here, because the opportunities to fight these are extraordinarily slim. But they're actually really frustrating because they have capes that block the back armor, which means you can't actually like take off the back armor until dealing quite a bit of damage inherently, like that. But again, I think the other had dealt a little bit of damage as is, which was very convenient for us. Yeah, like, that took a little bit longer. It was a little bit tattered by then, so that's why it was able to be destroyed as easily as it was. So yeah, we'll probably go through Ganon's maze just to get it over with. I've always liked the mini-boss theme. It felt kind of Western to me in a way that also kind of feels out of place for Wind Waker, to be completely honest. Also, these deal a lot of damage. I lost a lot of health there. I definitely should have been paying more attention to my health this whole time. That could have gone really badly, though I do have a fairy in reserve. Again, I was just saying, oh, I don't need that much health. I say as I almost die right after. Just my luck. The flames going away was a little bit anticlimactic there, though I think that's more of a case of this not being, like, a normal gameplay thing. It's, like, normally a cutscene. Oh, might as well try to refill our hearts here. Resupply, and gotta move on. Again, I do think I'll try to tackle that maze before we head out. I also wonder how this is gonna work, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, if we do this, will this actually mean that... Actually, this is the wrong way, isn't it? Yeah, this is the wrong way. If we open this up, does that mean that to get back over here, we have to go through the Forsaken Fortress, which might explain why they put a warp here in this randomizer. Also, thank goodness we don't have to do the block pushing puzzle. I've never been a fan of it. It's like very unwieldy because you can kind of move them, like, you have to like rotate them around, and it's a bit cumbersome. Oh, the barrier isn't even here. Never mind, it is here. Spoke too soon. This is such a fascinating part of the game because this was like a holy grail speedrunning for the longest time. Like, the theoretical ability to skip this barrier was long sought after for an extended period of time, basically. Like, various runners trying to find different ways to skip past it, to avoid needing the Master Sword, to actually, or maybe I think it would be the Master Sword, to actually, break through that. And you could skip a lot of the game, potentially, if you could get past it. And they did find it. Both versions actually have barrier skips now. Wii U and GameCube. I think the GameCube one was actually found first. Actually no, the other way around. The Wii U version was found first. And then GameCube a little bit later, I think. I'm gonna do something stupid that I've never tried before, but no time like the present to see if this works. So yeah, you can't actually just glide over. I figured, given that I'd recently watched a video talking about how you could basically beat this game with only the Deku Leaf and I think the Tingle Tuner and maybe like one other thing. Again, speedrunning is really fascinating. I know there's a lot of like mixed opinions on it just because of like the ability to skip so much of these games, which can be a little bit divisive in terms of whether that's a good thing or not, or is like a valid way to beat the game if you just like clip out of bounds and skip everything. But I almost feel like in most games cases they're so complicated to pull off in practice that it's like a separate set of skills needed to beat the game unintended as opposed to intended, to the point where it's still a very impressive feat, actually, doing like a speedrun of a game like this. We have to do a ton of like frame perfect stuff to get through. I don't remember the order. We have to go back the other way. Cause I do not recall. So it's like 3142. We have to talk to the King of Red Lions, apparently. 3142 going left to right. Alright, we might as well open this up, but again, I think this means we'll have to go back through here, through the, Forsaken Fortress. 3, 1, 4, 2. Oh, I just noticed they have the little symbols. Huh. They're not in order. That's weird. I was briefly considering, I wonder if this is a case of like, they're in boss order, but they're not. That's really bizarre. It's somehow very ominous seeing the King of Red Lions emerge from the darkness like that. Again, I don't remember if I turned on fast text or not, but this is definitely not skippable, unfortunately. So yeah, these are arranged in or the order you fight them in, sort of. Is it though? Cause that's Goma, that's Keldamos, that's Ganon, probably. That's Mulgara, and that's Jalhalla. So maybe it's like going like from the from the edges towards the center. But I actually do think you might be able to do the Wind Temple before the Earth Temple. It's just, I feel like no one ever does that order, but I assume that would be theoretically possible. By the nature of, like, not really having too much required in one to do the other. Like, you really don't need the Mirror Shield in the Wind Temple at all. Or the hookshot for that matter, and I don't feel like you'd actually need anything in one to do the other, and I think you can actually recruit either Medley or Makar in either order. But again, it's also been a hot minute since I've attempted such a thing, so I might be, completely off base here. I wonder if they make us go through all 8 rooms, or if they'll let us just go straight to the chest. It'd be nice if we didn't have to fight all of these, but it looks like we do. Cause yeah, you have to go through like 8 rooms, basically, otherwise. I actually don't know if it's fixed either. Cause if it's fixed, then obviously you could just skip the fights entirely, and just go straight towards the one you need, but I actually genuinely don't recall which it is. Oh, this move. I was not able to do a spin attack very well there. Wow, okay. That is unblockable. Okay. Dodge. And he's just gonna waste our time, basically. Again, a lot of these, like, attack patterns aren't terrible to dodge once you know how to dodge them. It's just, yeah, you just kinda want the boss to get a move on more than anything. At least that's how I feel about certain bosses. The biggest example I can think of that is Sonic Rush of all games, off the top of my head at least, because Sonic Rush is like notorious for having really slow boss fights. Like a lot of waiting, and I think that is one area where Rush Adventure is a lot better. I'm not really crazy about Rush Adventure though. The vibes are really good, but I almost feel like there's a lot of padding in that game because of like having to collect materials for the upgrading vehicles, specifically the one to get the Chaos Emerald races, which is I think the jet ski and only that. Oh, that counted. Okay. It's not that bad, especially since the levels are better designed. Yeah, I think the moment-to-moment gameplay is a little bit worse because of sometimes needing to upgrade vehicles. But the actual stages, I think, are more fun to go through. So again, it's like... I kind of go back and forth on which one I like better. Sonic Rush has a lot of BS, though, I will... if I recall correctly. Like, a lot of Sonic Rush's level design is, like, where, like, all the memes about dimps and bottomless pits come from. Someday I'll get to play the advanced games beyond 3, which I hear is not the best, necessarily. I remember an interesting discussion recently on, like, social media over, like, the Sonic Advance 2 actually being one of the most influential Sonic games, and then followed by Rush, because they have similar design philosophies of like emphasizing speed over platforming, which kind of goes into the boost games also. But an interesting like discussion over like the roots of like current modern Sonic, and I almost wouldn't disagree with that in some ways, though Dimps did actually work on the SD version of Unleashed, ironically, which feels less Dimps-like in some ways than Unleashed HD, which sure loves its bottomless pits. And also QTs that instantly kill you if you make a mistake, so... It's funny, because it's like, I complain a lot about Sonic. I am still, like, a big Sonic fan, it's just I have a lot of strong opinions on this franchise. There's only one door forward, so I would hope that's the right one. And we have a treasure chart, okay. Well, it was worth a look, at least. Don't mess with us, Sonic fans, we don't even like the franchise. That's somewhat how I feel at times. It's like, I think my thing with Sonic is I tend to complain about these games a lot, but at least from a place of, like, wanting to see them improve in certain ways. Oh, we have a problem, actually. Is there not normally a boss fight here, like the final phase against Phantom Ganon, to get the sword to break the barrier? Or do we just use light arrows in this case? Either way, we're stuck here, so we'll move on. So yeah, we really could have just saved this till the very end, but we had no way of knowing. Did I not fight the big Octo at the cabana? I don't think I did, actually. I think I went straight here and totally spaced out on that. It's like Sonic games I'm most critical of are still ones that I enjoy to some level. Or at least would prefer them to be better in some ways. A good example is, you know, Lost World, which is probably towards the bottom of my list of favorite Sonic games, just because I have a lot of objections to the writing of that game in particular. I don't even think Lost was a bad game by any stretch. I think it's a pretty decently made game. It's just a problem of, yeah, there's some areas that are very poorly thought out in terms of writing. I'm just wondering when anyone will have, like, the desire to bring Zavok back. That's my main thing. I want to know what like an Ian Flynn and Zavok would be like, in all like complete seriousness. Yeah, it doesn't really play like a Sonic game, but even then, just sort of disregarding it being a Sonic game and treating it as its own thing. Again, my constant... Oh, I haven't actually read the comic, so I didn't know if he appeared, so that's on me. It's like, yeah, I've never actually read... I don't think I've read any of the comics. Not even, like, Archie. Okay, 11... is that 18? Yep. 18... And I think... Do we have... Okay, we have one more, 34. That should be all the ones we found. By the way, this one is number 36, so we're actually in the ballpark of this one. Yeah, I'm not really a big reader, in all fairness, and I do admit that is a problem I have. It's like, I should probably try to read a book from time to time, instead of just playing video games, or like, doom scrolling, social media. And the rupee. Cool. So this one's also really frustrating in my opinion, because you're at the mercy of the AI birds not getting in the way, the Kagoroks, or whatever they're called. And putting this one off for a little bit, but again, we have like 7 pairs, we should be fine. You can use arrows for this, actually. It's obviously very difficult, but it is possible to get this solely using arrows. I'm not that good of a shot, though, especially with, like, this analog stick. Alright, that one just didn't activate for some reason. Cool, thanks, game. But yeah, I would be curious to see what, like, the Deadly Six would be like in another game. Would almost be curious to see them have another shot, because frankly only Zavok has appeared since. Like, if they ever do a Lost World, you know, HD, would they try to, redub it, for example? Also, who would even be voicing some of these characters, is another question. Though I guess also, like, Zavok would have been affected by the recast already, because same voice actors, Knuckles, therefore, you already would have been recast for, TSR. I still disagree with some of the team picks for that game. Speaking of Team Sonic Racing, I still very much question, like, Zavok being in the game. Patrick Seitz, that's a good choice, to be honest. Yeah, I actually kind of forgot that, to be honest. I've played TSR and I forgot that, actually. You only hear Endeavor? That's fair. I think I've only seen one episode of My Hero Academia, actually. Okay, we're good. That took, like, 4 pairs. That was definitely not optimal. But we're fine. Also, I still didn't go back for the Big Octo, in the other place, the, Cabana Island, Private Oasis. It's like, why am I breaking these? We don't need rupees. But just, like, the Zelda instinct of having to break every pot you see. So yeah, I'm feeling very torn right now, because hypothetically, we could try to push through and continue looking for the light arrows. On the other hand, if we stop, like, now, then we'll at least have enough to, like, justify another stream, even if we get it at the back half of our search. Because there's a chance if we check too many places, we'll get the light arrows and then just need to end the stream because it's getting late. So, I think I'm actually tempted to end before too long. I think I'll check a few more locations. We'll check Bomb Island for the Sunken Treasure, and we'll fight the big Octo. And then I think we'll call it there, and then save the rest for, hopefully, because there's only like so many more locations to check. Hopefully we'll be able to get the final things we need without too much difficulty. About here? That might not be far enough. Never mind, it is far enough. Cool. I never got the Sunken Treasure at Tower of the Gods either. There's a lot of Needle Rock that we can get next time. That's probably... I'm trying to figure out where to start, because again, there's like this temptation because there's so much in the Wind Temple, but there's also the fear of not being able to complete the Wind Temple. Again, this is the fascinating part about randomizers, is trying to optimize. Because we have 36 locations accessible, but again, these could be tied to dungeons. So... like, if we end up fighting this big Octo, and we either get the Wind God's Aria, or we get the Mirror Shield, then we know where to start, basically, for next time. Otherwise, who knows? I could have sworn the guy is facing where the big Octo is, but I feel like we would have seen the gulls by then. And again, we could always talk to a fish man and get a hint, but at this point we're so far in, it's like I almost don't want to. It's like almost a matter of pride at this point that we've gotten through this entire seed without a hint, and then to actually just at the final stretch to get a hint, and almost feel like somewhat anticlimactic. So I think I will try to tough it out. As much as I don't want to have to go through like 30 more treasure charts and sunken treasures in general. But again, that is one of the problems with randomizers like this, is trying to work out what the optimal choice is. Because obviously, there are situations where maybe, it's here or there, but obviously you might end up just wasting a lot of time if you check the wrong place, but there's no way of knowing until you actually dive in and scope everything out. We're also still missing the bomb upgrades. We only have 30 bombs still. We have full arrows, but not full bombs. So that's a little bit awkward for having to fight enemies like this. Now, in general, there's not a whole lot that uses bombs in this game, I feel. A lot of things double up, I think. And again, that's another fun thing about this randomizer, seeing what actually doubles up, like being able to use, like, the boomerang for the lookout platform cannons. That's, like, a really cool detail to know, and normally I don't think you'd actually figure that out, because it just feels like you would have enough bombs by then to get through that, no problem. So sometimes, like, limitations force you to be more creative in terms of solutions. And again, like in the, Dragon Roost Cavern, having to basically use the Deku Leaf to go out of order for the dungeon, and also in the, Forbidden Woods, we had to go out of order, because we had to actually go through the basement before we could tackle the top half, which I think is not the typical order. Maybe it is, based on where you get the boss key. Again, maybe this is just showing I know the game less well than I thought I did. Alright, so we have a lot of treasure charts left still. Actually, we really don't. No, wait, this is like not collecting. This is more like something else. Actually, I know, we're gonna end at Windfall again. The song, I'm like, which song is it? I think it's this one. Again, it feels like we keep ending at Windfall, but this just feels like a logical place to end most of the time. So, I guess it needs to be night, for one thing. Also, I need to remember which direction the wind needs to go in, because I actually don't know off the top of my head. But now that we finally have fire arrows, we need to go up here and light the lighthouse. But again, that also raises the question of what direction does the wind have to go in for this? I think it's like northeast or something. But it's also been like a long time since I've done this, so I'm like kind of winging it. It's like we will find out one way or another, I suppose. I mean, by the time I Google it, we'll just wing it and find it by just trying every direction anyway, so I think I'll just, yeah, wing it. Where the heck is the switch, actually? Oh, it's back here. I didn't need to go through the bomb shop at all. I almost feel like in some cases like this, you know, as much as I have played this game 50 million times, that's an exaggeration, obviously. I've played like maybe a dozen times, which, you know, it still makes it one of my most played Zelda games. But I do feel like it is a case of this game in particular is so dense that it is really hard to remember everything. It's one of the things I find really impressive about speedruns. Is that, like, they just have to have everything memorized. Like, the entire game, you have to have, you know, committed to memory in a way that... I think that's, like, the most impressive part to me as someone who has really bad memory. It's just how they're able to actually retain all the information they need to complete a speedrun. Alright, at this point, because we have to just check every direction, I should just Google this. Wind Waker windmill. It has to go north, apparently. See, I thought it was one of the, like, diagonals. So we would have been here a really long time, trying to figure that out otherwise. Alright, let's give this a shot. This should be correct. Hey! Different camera angle, so you immediately know it's correct even before the jingle goes off. It doesn't feel like that should be right, though, based on the direction of the, like, sails, I guess you could call them. I'm amazed I didn't take damage from that, to be honest. And now we have the fun task of trying to jump over there, with the wind direction being north. This should actually work to get us over here at least. Never mind, we can't actually go here. We do have to take the long way around. I do find that Zelda games in general have a very unique ability for, like, this genre of making worlds that feel sort of alive in a way. Like, there are so many characters in Windfall and just various locations in the Great Sea. But I almost feel like this game does suffer from the aspect of fewer towns compared to other Zelda games, despite the nature of being, you know, out in the ocean all the time. But I feel like a lot of Zelda games do a good job of having, like, a central town of sorts that does feel very lived in. Alright, there we go. First try! And now I'm blind. And that makes this chest appear, so we're gonna get this chest, and then... find the second treasure as well. I definitely am gonna take damage otherwise, so we'll slow our descent a little bit. And yeah, off screen I don't even have to do any, like, rupee farming or anything. We have enough resources to get us through, basically the rest of the game at this point. Oops. There we go. Next time I also need to contemplate backup games, too. because there's a very high likelihood we'll need a backup game, just based on how our luck pans out. Oh, there's also one directly from the lighthouse operator. That's another check we should do while we're here. Oh, so which sunken treasure is this? 18? I have no clue where in the vicinity of Windfall this is. I actually didn't open it up. That would help. It's like, no wonder. I thought it was around this zone, but I didn't see it anywhere. Transparent chest, and then we'll talk to Kreeb, who is the lighthouse operator. And we'll basically be done here. I should have talked to him earlier, to be honest. All's over there. And another joy pendant. Neat. Yeah, I hope we'll be able to finish this up next time. We only have, like, so many locations to check at this point. Even then, like, the only other, like, main item we're missing are the... Main items we're missing are the mirror shield, which opens up a lot of checks, actually. It says 16 checks, though. Yeah, I think the math checks out there. But most of those are just inside the Earth Temple. And then the Wind God's Aria, which opens up 4 checks. So if we find those two, that'll definitely narrow down our search quite a bit, to be honest. But even without those two, we still have only about 30 left to go. I'm almost tempted to, like, DM the spoiler log to someone and be like, hey, is anything tied to this, like, just sunken treasures, or can I just, you know, ignore that for the duration of this playthrough? Though again, something has to be a sunken treasure at this point, whether it's, like, the arrows we need, or just, like, progression in dungeons, either of the aforementioned items. Yeah, after all that time, you know, 4 streams, we are now officially done with Windfall. Again, this is the most dense location in the randomizer, by far. So now we have the very interesting question of where do we go now? Because we have a lot of sunken treasures, we have the Wind Temple. Either way, it doesn't feel like... You know, next stream will be a lot of treasure hunting, I think. Just hauling up all the treasures that we have. See if anything's there, and if not, we'll hit up the dungeons, most likely. So yeah, it might be a fairly tedious stream next time. For the sake of not, you know, spending a lot of time, or minimizing time next time, I think I'll just warp over to Great Fish here, and go down to Needle Rock Isle. Because that's probably the best place to start. There are 4 checks there. Again, if we get the light arrows in the first 4 checks, then I'll feel kind of silly ending now, because then it'll be like, oh, we easily could have just done that last time. But there's no way of knowing, so I'll, again, definitely have, like, wing racers or something else on standby, just in case. So yeah, we really don't have much left to go here. There's a lot of straggler chests via sunken treasures and treasure charts. We don't even have all the treasure charts. We're missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it looks like. So yeah, it'll be interesting trying to wrap this up next time. Again, I am, like, fairly confident we'll be able to get through this next time. I'm, like, almost tempted to just check these 4, but again, there's the problem of the more we check now, the fewer we'll have to check later on. But again, there's, like, a morbid curiosity in just knocking out these checks while we're here. I should also save, because it's been a little bit, even though I didn't get anything of value past the arrows. And if I had to restart, I would know exactly where they were with the big octo. I don't even know if this is what you're supposed to do here, if I'm remembering correctly, or if you're supposed to, like, do something else to extinguish the fire, but we might as well. They're getting dangerously close. This is tall. Oh, got sniped. That sucks. Good thing I saved, because we might run out of pairs here. You know what I should do? What would be smart? Is to gain altitude elsewhere, and then fly towards the switch, instead of going straight for the switch. There's also those gunboats over there. They have something important for us, potentially. It's traditionally a piece of heart, I think, or something. But, otherwise, who knows what it'll be in the randomizer. There we go. That wasn't too bad, but again, curiosity is, like, telling me I should at least check these 4 while we're here. Silver Rupee, not worth it. It's like the one time where a Silver Rupee is not helpful. Actually, there's a lot of times where rupees are not desirable in these games. Another example's Ocarina of Time, where you have the whatchamacallits. The Skulltulas, and the reward for that is like infinite rupees for getting all 100, and it's not worth it. I do not care, we're gonna cheese this. No wait, you have to do this. This is the lighting the torches. I was like, I could've sworn you had to light torches in the Diamond Step area, but it's actually this one I was thinking of. It is interesting, actually, the subject of, like, asset reuse in games. You know, it ends up being kind of stigmatized, reusing assets because of, like, being seen as, you know, quote-unquote lazy. Again, I personally dislike describing games as such. But I personally don't really have objections to it in a lot of cases. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's pragmatic, for one thing. Instead of just making separate, like, brand new assets for literally everything. Alright, which one am I missing? Is there one really high up? Or am I totally imagining things? So the living light to 6 torches and dive down to the seafloor. Guide the lost spirit of the boat that forever wanders in darkness. Huh. 1, 2, 3... Oh, there it is. Trying to line this up is gonna be a little bit annoying, potentially. This is gonna hit the plank, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I figured. So we'll go over here and try... This one really sucked without full magic, actually. It would also help if I wasn't garbage at aiming at this. Oh, is this for the ghost ship chart? No, that's Diamond Step, I think. Because I was talking about guiding a ship, and I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't seem like what I recalled. So, let's see. Treasure chart 28. Did we get that? I actually don't remember. Again, turns out I have a very terrible memory for some things. I don't remember if we got this. Like, 100%. I did not. Okay. Why isn't it showing up is the other question. Because I don't think we should be in range for it to disappear. Oh, that's really fast. Okay. Massively overshot that. That might not be far enough. Never mind. That might have been far enough. And then there's the golden gunboat off the shore. So yeah, there's only like 40 to 50 checks left after this that we'll have to do. See, again, I'll be slightly annoyed because I'm definitely going over time right now. If this is actually the arrows over here, I'm gonna be slightly frustrated, actually. I actually don't even know if I have enough bombs for this. In all honesty. We only have to destroy one, though, so it should be okay, I hope. Not if I'm aiming like that. This was actually easy because the crystal actually marks where the treasure is. So this is actually one of the easiest treasures to haul up, in my opinion. This is normally a Triforce chart. Again, the one time I'll be mad if it's arrows, because then it means, like, do we just go and finish the stream? Like, finish the seed, or do we save it for next time? Because I'm definitely running behind. Again, almost relieved that it wasn't anything important. So yeah, next stream will be very interesting, potentially. We basically just need to check every single treasure chart that we have. I guess we'll start at Great Fish. That's as good a place as I need to start. Here's a weird thing. I don't remember doing Stone Watcher Island, but I have that marked as completed. I'm like genuinely confused because I don't remember doing that at all. But yeah, I'm not picking that up, I'm ending here, because I'm definitely worn out. We're going to save. Actually, off screen, I might actually do a little bit of grinding for items. I could definitely use some more bombs, so I might try to get some more. Again, we have no bomb upgrades this entire playthrough. It's kind of weird, actually, that we never got anything of the sort. And again, at some point, we will also go through the spoiler log. Probably if there's credits, we'll go through and, for my own peace of mind, go through and see where everything else was that we're currently missing. Yeah, that takes care of this. I think I am going to call the stream here, because I have been streaming for 3 hours, and that was longer than I meant to go. So, I hope everyone has a good rest of their evening. Hope everyone has a good week, or as good of a week as possible. I hope to stream again on Wednesday. I am impatient. I might just finish this. Just get this out of the way, and then we'll start something new. I have a short game in mind, depending on how much time we have. If we have like an hour to an hour and a half. Otherwise, we'll probably just do more ring racers or something. Yeah, we're making good progress. I was thinking this would be about 5 streams, and it definitely seems to be an accurate assessment of how long this would take. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and take care.